The disappearance of Melinda Borden. The disappearance of Melinda still remains an unsolved history. It's a cold case file. Oral history, as told by the elders, is that she was an unlisted passenger aboard the Titanic. She was traveling as a personal caregiver with a European contractor. April 1912, the Titanic hit an iceberg. I thought about jumping overboard, says Melinda, but I was too scared. Then I thought about sliding down the ropes, but oh my God, they were shooting at all black faces in sight, nor will they give us life jackets. Then the water forced me into the sea. I swam towards European lifeboat, but they pushed me away. Then a big, large wave grabbed me and it forced me. It twisted me around like I was dancing. This is about 1920, when just ordinary people like our ancestors was determined that they were going to vote, right? And have a sense of this political arena in the United States as citizens, right? This is the story of Ocoee, the town of Ocoee, with Mr. Perry and his family.
Spread quickly. Some admired their courage, while others felt threatened by it. The mere fact that these men dared to challenge the barriers placed before them was enough to spark fear in those who benefited from the status quo. And it was fear, mixed with anger, that would soon turn into something far more dangerous. The story of Mose Norman and July Perry is not just about two individuals trying to vote. It is about what happens when ordinary people, armed with determination and a sense of justice, stand up against extraordinary resistance. Their names have echoed through history because they remind us that courage often looks like persistence in the face of rejection, and leadership sometimes means refusing to walk away when every instinct tells you to. What began as a simple act of citizenship would soon spiral into tragedy. Yet, in this moment, when Norman refused to let silence be the answer, and Perry stood firm in his support, we see the spark of resilience that defines so much of history. Their choices remind us that progress is never given freely. It is claimed through persistence, risk, and the unwavering belief that every voice deserves to be heard. As the day unfolded, their determination would set into motion events that neither man could have predicted. But their courage, their refusal to accept injustice quietly, ensured that their names would not be forgotten, even as Ocoee itself descended into one of the darkest chapters of its history. The hours following Mose Norman's denied attempt to vote were heavy with unease. Conversations in hushed tones spread across the town, carrying fragments of rumor and speculation. Some said Norman had returned with anger in his eyes, determined to speak out against what he had experienced. Others whispered that his protest had struck a nerve, one that stirred fear among those unwilling to see change take root in Ocoee. What should have been a day of ballots and voices instead began to swell into something darker. As the sun dipped lower, the atmosphere shifted. Groups of men gathered on porches and at street corners, their words sharp, their tempers rising. What began as talk soon hardened into intent. The idea of punishing those who dared to demand their rights gained momentum, spreading like a spark catching dry grass. And with that spark, a mob began to form. It was July Perry's home that soon became the focus of their anger. Perry, respected and steady, had long been a guiding presence for his neighbors. His support for participation in the election was no secret, and his reputation as a man who stood by his community made him an obvious target. To those who feared the strength of Ocoee's black residents, Perry's home symbolized resistance. As the mob drew closer, the night air filled with tension. The men did not come quietly, their numbers swelled, and the sound of boots striking the ground carried through the stillness. Some carried torches, their flames flickering against the darkening sky, while others clutched weapons. This was not the march of citizens defending their town, it was the deliberate advance of those determined to silence voices.
This is Black History Revealed. Credit goes to it.
Dissent. Inside the Perry household, the situation was far different. Family members huddled together, fear written across their faces, yet strengthened by the knowledge that they were not alone. July Perry himself, calm but resolute, prepared for what might come. He was no stranger to intimidation, but this moment was unlike anything before. The glow of firelight from outside cast shadows through the windows, each flicker a reminder of the danger pressing closer. The confrontation that followed was not one-sided. Perry and those with him were determined to defend their home, their families, and their dignity. As the mob surrounded the property, words quickly gave way to violence. Shots rang out into the night, echoing across Ocoee and shattering the stillness. The crack of gunfire.
So we have always been a people of resistance. They fought back in the little town of Ocoee, but it was just not enough of them, and they didn't have enough guns also. Our people, at that time it was illegal to have guns at that time also.
It was met with cries of anger and pain, each exchange escalating the fury outside. For hours, the standoff raged. The mob, emboldened by their numbers, pressed forward again and again, only to be met with resistance from within. Perry's household refused to surrender, each moment of defiance carrying with it the weight of survival. The smoke of gunpowder hung in the air, mingling with the smell of burning torches. The clash was more than physical, it was symbolic, a collision between determination and oppression. But numbers eventually tipped the balance. As more men joined the mob, their strength grew overwhelming. Barrages of gunfire tore through the home, windows shattered, and the walls shook under the relentless assault. For those inside, escape seemed impossible. Yet even as the situation grew dire, Perry's resolve did not waver. He fought not only for himself but for what his stand represented, the refusal to yield to fear, the insistence that he and his family had the same right to safety and respect as anyone else. The night was marked by chaos and desperation. Outside, voices rose in anger and triumph with every shot fired. Inside, prayers mingled with determination as those under siege clung to whatever hope remained. When the final moments came,
so you guys, you look at what the paper says that July Perry was strung from the limb of tree and pow pow early that morning, Negro's arms. So we just see that this is the 1920s that black men were being, lynched. So we just 2026 found a young man lynched in Marietta, Georgia, you guys. So let me tell y'all something. This is the Ocoee 1920, our ancestor, right? They always fought back. They always resisted. And another thing, the vote, they fought the vote, man. And then not only that, they were fighting for our rights and everybody else's rights as well of color. This is the Forgotten Massacre, Ocoee 1920. Credit to Black History Revealed. You guys have to go over there to see the rest of this. This is Black Titanic. Hit that like button, share, and subscribe. And remember, you guys, I'm almost there. I need less than 200 subscribers to get to 1,000. But for this Black History Month, we're going to talk about Norma and July Perry in the little town called Ocoee. So as y'all can see, Mr. Perry tried to vote, right? So of course they refused him. So the next day, Mr. Perry and his neighbor Norman, they went back and protested. But this angry, the YT people, they were so angry. How dare him? How dare he get the courage to come down here and protest the vote? He has no rights. So what they did, you guys, later on that night or sometime that week, right? Mob came. They came with torches. They came with guns. And it was a 4-hour standoff. Mr. Perry and his family and those people, I mean, they fought back. We've always been a people resistance. You know what? When I was looking at that trailer with Tariq, the sixth version, number 6, y'all. But anyway, uh, and one thing that stood out in there when this one of his hosts said that we've always been a people of resistance. And this shows you, this was in 1920, y'all. Mr. Perry and Norma, July and Norma, I'm going to tell you something. They had courage, right? But anyway, getting back to the fight. They fought all night long. They survived through that night, y'all. They had to go back and get more and more and more white people. They came back the next day, okay, so they called themselves, dragged him out the house, Mr. July, for some reason. That's who they targeted, Mr. July Perry, you know. Of course, he was a businessman and homeowner, landowner, all that, so that made him mad, too. So anyway, they pulled him out of his house and trying to pretend like they were going to send him to jail to get some justice. Of course, y'all know what the law was. The law was replaced by vengeance, y'all. That mob action overturned everything, and you know what they did? They lynched him. They lynched this man in his suit. Had on his suit, tie, he was dressed nice. And the reason I say that because, you know, they have a image of who's bad and who's not in our community, you know. I need to strike that out, y'all. Just forget about that. But anyway, we're talking about his courage now. July had courage and they knew that. How they did not want that to spread. They did not want the courage to spread. They did not want changes to come in 1920. But our ancestors were saying, you're not going to oppress us. Mr. July was a man that stood on what he believed. He fought for what he believed in, you guys. He fought for his people, that he was not going to be oppressed, that he and his family had the same rights as everyone else. They were a citizen here. Yeah, they target his home now, and they lynched him. All because he wanted to vote. But what Mr. Perry leave us with, July Perry leave us with, is a legacy to be proud of. A legacy of bravery and resistance. That's what our ancestors left us with. Now, you know, we're going to bag it up to, speed it on up to 2026. They just found another guy hung, a black guy hung. His name is Kyrie Bensinga. Yeah, right here in Marietta, Georgia. Missing person, Cal Basingo.
Reflection Student Housing. So once again, that alleges that he is a student. And here's another post, a 20-year.
His name is Cal Basingo, y'all. He was found in Marietta, Georgia, hanging. He is been identified as that missing 21-year-old Kyle Bassinger, allegedly.
1-year-old man was found hanging at Fair Oaks Park in Marietta, Georgia on Wednesday. Police haven't identified the victim yet, but it is believed to be the missing 21-year-old Cal Basinga, who was last seen leaving Georgia State University and lives in Marietta. The only articles I can find are just a statement. A man was found hanging from a tree Wednesday morning. And if you look at this photo, here's another photo of him. It is obvious that, you know, he likes to walk the trails. This is him out in the trails. Also, here's another post that you see him out in the wilderness. 21-year-old Cal Basinga was found deceased in a wooded area of Fair Oaks Park near West Booth Road in Cobb County, just outside of Marietta, Georgia. Investigators have stated that the case is currently being investigated as a possible self-unalivement, of course, but the final determination is pending autopsy results by the Cobb County Medical Examiner's Office. Unverified community report that the death is a lynching rather than self-unalivement or self-inflicted. No official statement from law enforcement or major news sources has labeled it as such. And once again, you see him here out in the woods, in the wilderness. So that is where he, liked to stay. Now, here is a video of the young brother out in the woods, but also he's going to be having a conversation, which is kind of contentious with the police. Just watch.
I'm gonna start walking now because this lady started treating me like I'm some crazy. A random car drives behind me close like that. What? Bro, look where you are on the sidewalk right here. You was driving close, bro. Come on, bro.
I'm just gonna tell you again to chill out, stop screaming, and don't get in my face, okay? That's the last time you can get in my face.
I'm not even close to you right now, gang. Just give me my shit and I can go about my business. Cause this is low-key illegal what you just did. You just checked me for no reason. What was your reason for getting my ID?
Hey, Taylor House Publishing. You know what reason? Walking while black, jogging while black, sleeping while black. It don't matter if you run into a racist. This is about Taylor House Publishing. Missing college students found hanging from trees on walking trail in Georgia. Right off of Booth Road in Marietta. Don't y'all forget to subscribe now. I need your help. I need at least 200 more subscribers. Hit that like button, share, and subscribe. This is Black Titanic, but this is my favorite part. This is the fan spotlight. I call y'all my Titanians, and someone says, I'm yourself, and try not to walk alone. Yes. And then Kevin say, I guess now the community is having flashback. Because Kevin Maiden said Armand Aubrey was jogging in Georgia. And they unalived the brother. Yes, they did. Yeah, we watched it on TV. And guess what? They were convicted. The bravery of the mother, the father, the town, and the community that rallied behind her and fought and fought and fought till they got justice, right? Ahmaud Arbery mother was a beast. Did y'all know that they said the lady was in her 80s and she was there at the trial every day. I don't know who she were, but they didn't say whether she was no kin to him or what, but I can imagine down in that little town, she probably helped raise and babysit a whole lot of those kids that are now grown down in that town. I've been down there. And I remember my son-in-law from down that way, right in that same area. Yeah. He used to always tell me, Mom Dukes, don't go across them tracks by yourself when you're here. That's what he used to tell me all the time when I came down there to visit his people. Now I know why. But anyway, Brigantia says he was being stalked. Yes, he was. Y'all saw that. They laid and they waited for him. Yes, they did. They trapped him in like a rat. Probably the state actors that did this. They are the KKKs, you guys. Big Buck is saying 99%. Come on. A Big Buck gonna lead at least 1% of that populations of these state actors. They are in with. They're in with the leading of that brother. They know exactly who did it. 'Cause it's been going on checked. Check the recording, or it's been going on unchecked. Because what's going on right now in 2026, the year 2000, hold up, all these black men and women's been hung. And, oh, okay, I got to cut that out. So this is Hidden Color 6, the culture of resistance official trailer by Tariq Radio. You know, I just showed y'all an example of 1920 of Norma and July Perry. They resistance, right? Our ancestors have always been resistant. But anyway, always had a culture of resistance. We cultivated a culture of resistance. This is Hidden Color 6 by Tariq. Y'all know I can't wait to see this. Wow, I can't wait to take my kids to see this.
And erasing history is something that you have to do when it comes to conquest, domination, and destroying a people. If people knew who they were, and what they were capable of in the past, they will understand what they have a possibility or a likelihood of doing in the future.
Foundation of Black Americans, we've always had a culture of resistance. We cultivated a culture of resistance on this land, and we've been resisting ever since we've encountered European domination.
But nothing was really popping in Europe until the transatlantic slave trade, and that's where they amassed a lot of wealth.
One thing that I think is unique about our culture as far as how we resist, how we fight back, is just the environment we were put in from day one. Being only 13% of the population, the white supremacists were very meticulous about keeping that population at a certain amount.
There was never a period when we did not resist the encroachment of the white man.
They have a natural behavior of authority no matter where they go. That's why they'll step up in front of us in the line at the store. We're not important. They don't see us.
We've never been able to excel. We've never been able to relax. We've never been able to just be, which means that existence is resistance.
It must be something in our DNA, our historical background, to when something doesn't sit right with us, especially spiritually, in our souls and in our spirit, we just say no.
We live in resistance. You know, from the moment we're born, we're in resistance. And it's handed down generation to generation.
And so I think that cultural resistance is actually in our DNA, in our epigenetics, and then it blossoms out into the culture.
So there's almost nothing in America that we do, from song to dance to politics to the way we talk, the way we dress, having coded languages considered to be slang today. Everything about Black American culture is a form of resistance.
Of course, they want to always downplay our contributions to the global tapestry because they continue to act like our number one export in this country is not Black innovation.
Everyone understands that our resistance has been the cornerstone of what foundational Black Americans have always done. We are the life that breathes everything into this nation.
The further back you go, the further Black you go. It's just simple like that, brother.
This is, oh wow, this is breathtaking, y'all. I must have watched this 100 times. Hidden Color 6, the culture of resistance, trailer by Tariq, you guys. Okay, we are a culture of resistant people. Shout out to our ancestors for their courage and their bravery, and they believe that they are equal, just as equal as anybody else in this world.